The PowerPoint for this week on the topic of consumer society is from a book entitled Affluenza by multiple authors. Going over chapter 1 first. So in chapter 1, the authors argue that we spend nearly 2/3 of our $11 trillion economy on consumer goods. That is to say, 2/3 of our economy is based upon simply consumption. More shopping malls than high schools. In 1986, we had more high schools than shopping malls. We now have twice as many shopping centers, about 46,000, than high schools, about 22,000. 70% of us visits a mall each week, and this is more than the percentage of people who attend houses of worship. The authors claim that more time is spent shopping than with kids. So the authors cite that Americans spend 6 hours on average a week shopping and only 45 minutes playing with their kids. Chapter 2 on the issue of credit card spending and being in debt. So the average American household carried about $9,000 in credit card debt during the year 2002, for a total of $664 billion total in debt. Of course, these numbers have gone up quite a lot. College students averaging $2,500 in debt. Total American credit indebtedness tripled in the 1990s. And a good question to ask is, why is it so much easier to spend on credit than in cash? And of course, the reason behind that is because having a credit card or spending on credit, it disassociates us from the actual money, from the real money. And that's why it's a lot easier to spend on using a credit card rather than in cash. Lack of savings. Americans now save only 0.2% of their income, which is about $1.50 a week on a $40,000 a year income. So we simply do not know how to save, nor are we encouraged to save. Residents of the European Union save 12% of their income, and impoverished Chinese, Indian, and Pakistani workers save 25% of their income. The authors write about how the level of happiness reached a plateau in 1957. So 1957, people were happier, reported as being happier at that point more than ever before. We felt richer then than we do now. So which raises the question and issue, what is happiness? And it sounds like it's not in living a compulsive consumer society that we do today, when people were happier back in 1957. Chapter 3 is about the home sizes. The average home size is twice as big as it used to be in 57, while family size is smaller. So right after World War II, the average size home was 750 square feet. So that's about the size of a 2-bedroom home right there. Then in 1950s, 950 square feet became the norm. 1960s, 1100 square feet was the norm. In the 70s, 1150, and then 1990s, 2300 square feet became the norm. So over time, the expectation of the home size has grown more and more, while the average family size actually is smaller than what it used to be. On chapter 9, the authors write about the alienation of the worker, living through others. So People are desperate to find meaning. They're not satisfied with their work, and they're willing to get and receive any sort of meaning from the external world. This leads into the issue of things such as reality TV show or inside stories, right? The idea of living through, living a life through someone else. There never seems to be enough. The law of marginal utility, as economists calls this, is when we get tired of the same things, and so we want more and more of it. So this is why we get tired of the products that we buy, and so we go out there and buy the latest thing out there, or we consume more of something. So this is called the law of marginal utility. For example, prior to flat screen TVs, you had what were called CRT tube TVs. Then LCD became cheap enough and became affordable, so many people went out and upgraded their TVs. And then better technology emerged called LED TVs, and then eventually 3D LED TVs, because having a 2D is simply not enough. And 1080p is no longer enough. Now we have 4K resolution, that is 4 times the dimension or the pixel dimension of a regular 1080p TV. Even Playboy came out with a 3D cover issue. This was, I believe, back in 2020 or so, or 2010. Starbucks have a bigger size drink for a while now called the Trenta. This is a comparison of the various sizes here. So a Trenta on average holds 916 milliliters of liquid, while the average stomach holds about 900 milliliter of food and liquids. And on the issue of consumer society, or further consumer society, the obsession over Apple products. Back in 2011, a teenager sells his kidney to buy an iPad and a laptop. So the story was that in 2011, a Chinese teenager sells his kidney to buy an iPad. This started when the teenager saw an online ad. Of course, this was an illegal operation for organ donors. Agents came and organized a trip to the hospital and paid the teenager $3,392 US, and this teenager bought an iPad 2 and a laptop. This is how compulsive, this is how badly people want to consume American products. And of course we have Black Friday, when people wake up 5 o'clock in the morning to go shopping, and actually these days you can go shopping at about 6 p.m. The same day of Thanksgiving. No longer have to wait until the next day. In 2008, a temporary worker at Walmart dies after the opening hour of Black Friday. He was trampled to death after shoppers took the doors off the hinges and basically ran across him, and he died on the way to the hospital. So once again, this is how obsessive we are as a consumer society. back in 2013 Black Friday weekend, and this was a time period when, as a result of the 2008 financial crisis, the economy was still in recovery. A lot of people complain that they don't have enough income, and unemployment rate was still pretty bad. From Bloomberg News, 141 million people shopped during that weekend, with a total spending of 59 billion during that weekend, uh, and that came out to be an average of about $407 spent per person. So even during difficult financial times, people are still spending quite a lot, as we can see during Black Friday weekend. And that concludes the video of the PowerPoint from the book Affluenza.